Andy, why is OPEC and de facto leader Saudi so conspicuous for their silence? Is it the OPEC plus mandate and sensitivity towards and with Russia, or with prices well over budget break-evens, are they happy just to sit back and reap that windfall?
I think they have been happy to sit back and replenish their coffers that were depleted during the pandemic. The one thing that I would point out is they should look back to 2008, when in July of that year, oil prices were $145. And 5 months later, they were down to $35 as the world moved into a recession. And what we're seeing here is, this first signs of this significant amount of inflation, not only in energy, but in food, that's affecting countries around the world. In fact, in Latin America, they're now already cutting back on their purchases of diesel fuel because they can't afford it.
How high do prices go then, Andy, in this context, if OPEC is not going to come to the table immediately, even if they did, and even if they did pump 1 million, possibly 2 million additional barrels of oil, they can't do that in the short term and meaningfully compensate for any Russian export loss.
I feel as though the market is pricing in a 2 to 3 million barrel a day shortfall at the moment. And of course, if Russia should ultimately ban the sale of oil into Europe, which is a total of 4 to 4.5 million barrels a day, we can easily go another $20 to $30 a barrel higher. And in fact, if there's no action, the only way to solve the problem is to have higher prices cause demand destruction around the world. And my greatest fear is that these prices have risen so fast that you cause a recession in Europe and Latin America that rolls on into the United States, that ultimately affects China's ability to sell consumer goods to the rest of the world.
So we're looking at potentially $150 a barrel, Andy, correct?
Well, I think that's a possibility. I mean, we haven't seen a supply disruption in the sense of pipelines being blown up or oil fields being blown up. But what you are seeing is the oil industry shy away from Russian purchases and seek the alternatives. And those alternatives are driving up the price of Brent and WTI.